How's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday morning. I don't hear many people talk about how much money they make cutting wood. A lot of people say it's not really worth it cutting pine. So today we're going to open up some of the myths about cutting and sawmilling wood, pine in particular, because I hear a lot of people say you can't make money cutting pine. And a lot of people say they will not cut pine because there's no money there. Everybody's financial situation is different. And people have a lot more expensive equipment and bills and payments and things like that they have to make on their machinery. Our setup is pretty simple. Hell, we don't even have a saw shed, but we're kind of open air out here. We have a manual sawmill, a not very expensive sawmill, and an old mid-2000s Bobcat that we've had since the mid-2000s. So our situation is a little bit different. We can make money cutting pine. I'd love to make more money cutting hardwoods and things like that, but we're not really set up with a kiln yet, and the good money in that stuff's really the kiln drying, stacking, finishing the lumber, things like that. So but we're going to talk about pine, and we're going to talk about my situation. I'm going to show you how much money I make cutting this pine. Here we've got a nice pine log. This thing has 0 knots, 0 limbs. So what we get on these logs like this is $1.25 per board foot on clean pine cuts, clean pine lumber. And this is going to be cut into 1x, actually 1x8s by 12 foot long. And to talk to you about how I calculate the price on this log is I have a little calculator, a board foot calculator. Each 12-inch wide by 1-inch thick by 12-inch long is 1 board foot. So if it's 6-inch wide, 12-inch long, 1-inch thick, that's half a board foot. So I use a board foot calculator app, and I'm about to show you the app right now. So this is my board foot calculator. And this is, I think the name of it is board foot calculator. So it's pretty simple. All you really do, if I can get you in the camera here, you have your thickness, your width, and your length. I've got mine set for thickness and width in inches and length in foot. Now you can toggle that length to inches or foot, depends on how you want to set it up and quote it out. And then you got quantity and you got price. So if you look at my math right here, we've got 1-inch thick, 8-inch wide, 8 foot long. Okay, so that's supposed to be 12 foot. Let me change that. We back out and do 12 foot and calculate. So here we go. So for this job right here I'm doing right now, it's a little bitty small job. It's for 14 1x8s, 12 foot long. So if you look at this, it's 112 board feet, and $1.25 is $140. So you see that 1-inch by 8-inch by 12 foot lengths, quantity 14, $1.25. And you can calculate waste and things like that. I don't use that stuff, but you have a few options you can change in there. But you'll see this job right here will take me every bit of 15 minutes, and it's 140 bucks. So you can kind of do the math. I have a few jobs like this per day, sometimes more. I've got some big jobs too, but I try to knock these little small jobs out first and then get them my big jobs because they take a lot more time, especially on a manual mill. With my fingers, I pushed my finger on a trailer hitch the other day, so about took the tip of my finger off. So I'm kind of working with a stupid bandage, but it's getting better. But anyway, so that's how we calculate board foot and money per job. So that's how we figure out what we're going to charge the customer. And this is my lumber. It's not lumber that somebody brings me. If somebody brings me the pine, it's 75 cents per board foot, and you can kind of do the same math, figure it out. But that's on pine anyway. Some hardwoods I charge more money because it's a lot harder on the blades and more susceptible to hitting nails and things sometimes. So if you look here, I got this pine tree or log on here. Let's start cutting this pine up. And I tell you, it's hard working with a bum finger. What we got going on here is it's pretty clean, except for the very bottom right here. So I estimate we'll get 8 or 9 boards out of this, and we're gonna have to get another log. Because right now it's 8 inches wide, and whatever height I can get out of it, minus the bottom boards. I'll probably cut the bottom boards too, just for my own use. We always get a little extra usable lumber, stuff that I can use for my projects around here or other places, or friends or whatever who need lumber. This side looks clean all the way down. It kind of does a dip right at the end there, but so let's see how many boards we get out of this right here. All right, we dropped this old can on here, and this thing's got a lot of buck holes in it. I don't know how deep they are, but we're gonna cut this down to 8 inch by whatever the height is and see if we cut into it and get some wood out of it. I don't know how deep them holes go, but right now it looks like Swiss cheese. looks pretty good after we cut that off. I got some bug holes on the top here, well, on the side right now, but when I flip it up, that'll be the top. So we'll cut that down a couple of inches and get those clear and see what kind of boards we can get out of this thing. We may have to throw another log on there, I don't know yet. Those are carpenter bee holes that they get in here during the spring and lay their larvae in the wood, and they make some big old holes in the wood. They decimate the pine, especially if it's dry and older. Been sitting for a while. This one's been on the ground for a while, so it's definitely Swiss cheesed up by the carpenter bees. Cleaned up pretty good through the center. In the heart, we're gonna get all the wood we need, I think. But I don't think we'll have to throw another stick on here. I think we got everything we need right here. Look at the colors in that pine. That's nice. I don't know if the customer will want that, but I'd sure use it. Pretty. And just like that, we got an order done. And I probably got about maybe 15 minutes in cut time. It obviously took me longer than that because I went up and ate and did a few other things. Had to go get my saw and get some water, but other than that, about 15 minutes of cut time. So as you can see, cutting pine can be profitable. That little job right there, like I said, was 14 pieces, 14 1x8 by 12s, and that was 140 bucks. So, you know, you do the math. About 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes total time down here, cutting on those, and for 140 bucks. Plus I got other jobs. I got a few other small ones and some big ones that are going to last more than a day. So, you know, like I said, you can kind of do the math and judge. Does pine make money? In my opinion, it does. So you do have to figure in your gas. My sawmill holds about 2.5 gallons, and I can run half the day on that tank. I can get a lot of board feet out of 2.5 gallons on that thing. I think it's 2 gallons, maybe it's 3. Got to figure in your blade cost. I figure in a blade per job, usually on these small jobs, just to kind of give myself some padding. That blade right there has been on here for several days, through several jobs. I cut some red oak yesterday with it, cut some white oak the day before with it, and it's still same blade. So sometimes you get a few days out of them, sometimes you can get a few logs out of them. Just depends on what you're cutting and how clean your logs are. But I try to figure in about 25 bucks per blade. And, you know, I try to figure in a 5 gallons worth of gas, because I know in one day, 5 gallons will last me an entire day on that sawmill, no matter how much I'm cutting. So you figure $17 in gas and $25 a blade. So, you know, you take a little bit off the top, but like I said, that blade's been on there for several days and I've cut several jobs with it. And that gas, I put it in 2 days ago, I think. So it's probably getting close to empty now. Like I said, I've run several jobs on that gas, and you know, not big jobs, but they're sort of small to medium jobs, but they were definitely worth it because they pay more than this job. So I got to get to other jobs, and I hope that kind of clarifies pricing. Like I say, I charge $1.25 per board foot on pine as a general rule of thumb. Sometimes I go less depending on the quantity and quality, and sometimes I go more. It just depends. Sorry for the short video today. I just wanted to get something out there because I've been kind of busy this week with other work, and I wanted to make sure we got a video out. I'm going to try to get more consistent, 2 videos a week at least. I'm thinking probably Monday and Thursday if possible, maybe Sunday or Thursday. I don't know. You guys tell me what the best days are. Comment below and let me know what the best days are to drop videos for you guys. And for everyone who commented black walnut on the last video and got them a free sticker, and don't forget about the free stickers. Those stickers are on the way, and I appreciate you guys with all the comments, and I hope you like the stickers. Now, we haven't given out all 50 yet, so if you want to go back to last week's video and comment black walnut, you'll get you a free sticker shipped on us. Well, that's going to do it for today. If you guys like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and share with your friends. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next one. And don't forget about the free stickers.